Vying for happiness leads to shared mystery. Sharing happiness leads to shared delight. From the book of Perfect Happiness by พระอาจารย์ประยุตโต Do not forsake righteous forms of happiness. Righteous happiness refers to happiness that is suitable according to the natural causes and conditions in life. There are many levels and dimensions of righteous happiness. Although one can say that we are entitled to these forms of happiness, they should arise in a legitimate way. For instance, in respect to pleasure derived from material things, the pleasure should not be tied up with causing hardship or affliction for others. Instead, our happiness should be shared with others, bringing about increased joy in the world. If our happiness is found on the suffering of others, it is unrighteous happiness. Instead of this, we should aim for righteous happiness, which causes others no grief. Even better, we can share our happiness. There are many different stages of happiness. One way to describe the different kinds of happiness is by this threefold division. 1. Competitive happiness. 2. Compatible or collective happiness. 3. Independent happiness. Competitive happiness implies that when others are happy, we are miserable. When we are happy, others are miserable. For the most part, this kind of happiness is linked to material things. Pleasure connected to material things involves obtaining or possessing something. By obtaining something, one is happy but this often implies that someone else goes without or fails to acquire something and is unhappy as a result. Similarly, when someone else obtains something, it means that we cannot have this thing and may be disappointed and unhappy as a result. This happiness is thus mutually incompatible. It leads to conflict and contention. Such conduct also has wider repercussions in society. When people primarily seek happiness by acquiring material possessions, they often begin to exploit each other, creating unrest and disturbance in society. Suffering and affliction then spreads. Because everyone is vying for pleasure, everyone ends up in turmoil. No one experiences true happiness. For this reason, there must be an evolution to higher forms of happiness. The second stage is compatible happiness, whereby one promotes the happiness of others. When we are happy, others share in this happiness. This form of happiness is the fruit of mind development. In particular, the development of true love. True love is equivalent to the wish for others to be happy. One must beware here. However, because the word love is somewhat ambiguous, there is true love and there is false love. True love is a favorable kind of love. In Bali, this love is referred to specifically as metta. The desire for others' happiness. The opposite kind of love, false love, is the desire for others to pander to our own personal pleasure. This kind of love, whereby one expects others to make one happy, and one feels the need to control others, is classified as part of competitive happiness and is based on obtaining or possessing things as described above. A clear example of true love is the love parents have for their children. Out of love, parents want their children to be happy. They will do whatever they can to make their children happy. When they witness the happiness of their children, they too experience happiness. The desire for their children's happiness is linked to effort. The effort to bring about this happiness. At first, children require material things such as food, toys, school, supplies. Parents thus endeavor to find these things for their children, to provide for their children. A certain degree of relinquishment is required from the parents. Usually, relinquishment causes discomfort and distress for people because they must lose something. But when parents relinquish things for their children, they do not feel unhappy. On the contrary, they feel joy. Why? Because they want to help make their children happy. When they relinquish their money and give things to their children and witness their children's happiness, they share in this happiness. Giving or relinquishing can thus be a form of happiness. Usually, people feel they must acquire things to be happy. If they have to part with something or give it away, they feel unhappy. But when people are established in true love, in loving kindness, giving things to others becomes a source of joy. Through an act of generosity, we feel immediate happiness. Witnessing the happiness of others, we experience satisfaction and joy. The happiness of both parties is thus mutually dependent. This is why it is called compatible, collective, or shared happiness. It stands in direct contrast to competitive happiness.